Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Su. I'm from TSMC. I'm a legal department director. The topic of my presentation today is protection of innovation and creative value in a new era of competition. I will focus on intellectual property. In my presentation, I would like to address three items. First, I would describe what I mean by value, creative value, and what's the relationship between intellectual property and value creation. And second, I will elaborate on this concept of IP ecosystem and explain how that is, I believe, the single most important, most crucial factor behind a successful IP value creation strategy. And then at the end of my presentation, I will use two examples, two initiatives at TSMC that we did and we're doing to illustrate how an IP ecosystem will work in practice. So first, let me explain about value creation. We're talking about innovation and value creation. There's a very close relationship between these two concepts. Innovation is not just free-form invention or generation of technical solutions. Innovation has to be based on creating value, creating things that customer will buy, creating economic value. So we believe there are several engines or several critical forces behind value creation, and one of such forces is intellectual property. By intellectual property, that's a generic term covering different forms of intellectual property, and most important two forms here I stress. One is know-how or trade secrets, and the other one is patents. I will further explain that in a moment. And then I will explain the concept of IP ecosystem. I will argue that IP ecosystem is the most important reason for a success in your intellectual property protection and utilization. And I will explain the concept by showing you the essential elements in such an ecosystem and how they work. So, on this slide, I try to summarize how intellectual property will contribute to the bottom line of a company. There are several ways. First, intellectual property protects an exclusive space for you to offer new product lines and new businesses. And second, not only can you use intellectual property to create new products, you also protect your existing business. You protect the competitive edge by having a strong protection of your core value. You avoid commoditization because you preserve a space to offer some unique value to your customers and your partners. And then intellectual property also enhances your leverage when you are trying to acquire complementary assets. In business, especially in the high-tech business, normally you have to work within a larger ecosystem. You need to leverage the power or leverage the advantage, the technology of different partners to create more value. And to do that, it's impossible for you to own everything. But when you have a strong portfolio, you have the quid pro quo to leverage, to gain access to complementary technologies. And then there's another financial reason behind this, a strong IP portfolio. That is, you can license out your technology. Normally, you don't license your technology if you want to preserve that exclusive space for yourself. But there are circumstances where it's consistent with your strategy to license out your technology, and you can gain strategic and financial values from licensing out. And then lastly, IP is normally the most important reason that you will be able to charge a premium pricing. So these are the 5 major ways an IP portfolio will contribute to your bottom line. And if you want to create strong IP, I have argued that you have to make a deliberate effort. You need to create a system, ecosystem. What do I mean by ecosystem? It's a structure, okay? It's a system that you develop to guide the behavior or to guide the activities. Especially in a big company, you have multiple R&D centers. You have many people generating new ideas every day. But they need a guidance when 2 engineers come together. They don't want any artificial structure or constraint. They want to have open discussions. But it's very important for you to create this structure to guide the behavior of the participants in this innovative activity. So, and what are the focuses of this ecosystem? What does the ecosystem do? Simply stated, the ecosystem will enhance your ability. So the goal of the ecosystem is first to capture the valuable innovations. You need a system to make sure whatever you invested in innovation, you will be able to capture that. And then the ecosystem must have elements for management. You need a structured effort to manage or to enhance the quality of your IP portfolio. And lastly, you need very creative ways to use that portfolio. Once you develop that, once you improve the quality of that system, you want to be able to use that. And when you use the portfolio, the most important thing is to remember the usage of your IP has to be fully consistent or aligned with your business strategy. Okay, the IP portfolio must be used to produce the result that at a corporate level that you would like to accomplish. On this page, I summarize the essential elements of an IP ecosystem. These are the major items when you develop an overall plan. And this does not apply only to big corporations. Even a small-sized company can use the structure. Okay, so this is useful for a company of all sizes. So what are the essential elements? First of all, you need a comprehensive and sustainable IP policy. That means when you develop your IP, you need a plan to follow. Okay, for example, at TSMC, we have many R&D engineers, and from legal department, we have dedicated people to work with them to make sure that their activity or the innovation is consistent with the roadmap that we would like to guide our company's innovation. So, and to do that, it's not enough to have just lawyers. You need to have lawyers who really understand the larger, the lawyers will not replace the engineers, but the lawyer has to be able to capture or to understand the big picture, where the company's going. Okay, in our industry, we use the terminology roadmap. We have technology roadmap, and there are choices to be made. There are different alternative solutions to a problem, and once you decided on one alternative, then an IP policy has to be complementary to that decision. So that's the important IP policy aspect of the ecosystem. And then the ecosystem has to be supported by enough people and resources, money. With dedicated, experienced in-house people, and of course, you would seek outside help when necessary. But it's important for you to have an in-house core team who fully internalize your IP strategy. And you must not be penny wise, pound foolish. Okay, these are essential resources that you need to build that system, ecosystem. And the resources has to be consistent with the size of your business. Okay. And then another element is strategic inventing. This is one very important idea driving our patent portfolio, for example. Strategic inventing meaning you need to make a deliberate effort, assign people to focus the innovative effort within a few targeted areas where you believe will be very important for the company's future. And then you need to have a patent prosecution program and trade secret policy that is consistent with such strategy. And then you need to reinforce your IP value creation by contracts. Contracts are the consensual arrangement between partners or customers and a company, and you can have different business models that require different contractual terms, but always remember the contractual terms have to be consistent with your IP strategy. So the people doing transactions must be fully familiar with the implications of choice of contractual terms. And last is that you have a rigorous litigation and licensing strategy. Litigation and licensing are two sides of the, not the same coin, but they're important ways of using your intellectual property. And to use them effectively, you need to always evaluate your options by your overall strategy. So these are what I believe the essential elements in an effective IP ecosystem. Okay, I will use two examples what we did and what we are doing at TSMC to show how a proactive IP program will produce tangible benefits for the company. The first one is our trade secrets program. Trade secrets represents the largest part of our intangibles. If you look at the intangible value of intangible can be measured. Okay, if you're a public company, your market cap, you eliminate the tangible assets from your market cap. The rest is intangible value. And if you look deeper into that intangible category, most of that, 80% of that is trade secrets. So how do we manage that? We have recognized from the beginning, there's a top-down approach from our chairman to say that trade secrets is one of the most crucial elements of our corporate strategy. You have a top-down, clear directive from the management. And then you need to have a policy, you need to have support organization, people, and create a corporate culture. This is not just corporate security or confidentiality. You need to spend enough resources to create a corporate culture that really protects your trade secrets. And then use the most advanced IT solutions to build these categories of trade secrets. It's important for you to understand what you have. So when you need to enforce that, you have a readily available database to prepare for protection. And then you need a strong, what we call the CIP, continuous improvement process. That's a formalized process for you to enhance your baseline. After you develop something, through operations, through continuous operations, you make improvements. But a lot of companies fail to capture that. So you need to formalize that process also by building this strong procedure. So we have to show the importance of trade secrets, we have roughly an estimate that behind every patent there are 10 to 100 trade secrets associated with that. That shows the importance of protecting trade secrets. And then the last one is when the circumstances require, you must be willing and able to enforce, to take trade secret theft to court. Okay, you must be able and willing to litigate. And in TSMC's case, in the past, we have litigated important trade secret cases. The second example here I would use is our patent program. Over the years, we have literally redesigned our patent program. So, and the results have been quite impressive. Today, we have a portfolio of more than 20,000 issued patents. And we have published patent applications worldwide, and in 2012, we're one of the top 50. So, and we did a lot of these patent prosecution in-house. So we have a strong team working on strategic invention disclosures. We also work closely with our strategic outside counsel in protecting our patented invention and having a robust patent program. My time is up. Thank you very much.